Did you know that the man often hailed as the father of Western philosophy never wrote a single word? That's right, Socrates, the legendary thinker, left behind no writings of his own. Everything we know about him comes from the accounts of others. But this is just the beginning. Stick around, because today we're diving into 10 unknown facts about Socrates that will completely change how you see this enigmatic philosopher. Socrates is a name that resonates through history as a beacon of wisdom, reason, and intellectual inquiry. Yet much of what we think we know about him is shrouded in mystery, paradox, and even controversy. In this video, we're exploring the lesser-known side of Socrates, peeling back the layers to uncover secrets that are as fascinating as they are surprising. Let's get started. As we mentioned earlier, Socrates wrote nothing. All of his ideas and philosophies were recorded by his students, most notably Plato. This has led to a persistent debate among scholars. How much of what we attribute to Socrates actually belongs to him and not to Plato or other contemporaries? This fact has earned Socrates the nickname the silent philosopher. Imagine shaping the course of human thought without leaving behind a single written word. It's a testament to the power of oral tradition and the loyalty of his followers that his legacy has endured. Forget the romanticized images of wise, dignified philosophers sitting under olive trees. Historical accounts describe Socrates as, well, let's just say unconventional looking. He had a bulbous nose, bulging eyes that gave him a perpetually intense stare, and a potbelly. Ancient writers often remarked on his resemblance to a satyr or a Silenus, mythical creatures known for their grotesque features. Despite his lack of physical allure, Socrates' charisma was legendary. People flocked to him not for his looks, but for his razor-sharp intellect and profound insights. It's proof that substance truly does trump style. Before he became a full-time philosopher, Socrates worked as a stonemason, crafting stone structures and monuments that were vital to the fabric of Athenian life. It's believed that he inherited this profession from his father, Sophroniskes. This early grounding in manual labor gave Socrates a unique perspective on the dignity of work and the lives of ordinary Athenians. It's fascinating to think that the same hands that sculpted stone would later sculpt the very foundations of Western philosophy. One of the most intriguing stories about Socrates involves the Oracle of Delphi. When asked if anyone was wiser than Socrates, the oracle reportedly answered no. Socrates was baffled. How could he be the wisest when he claimed to know nothing? After much reflection, he concluded that his wisdom lay in recognizing his ignorance, a paradox that became a cornerstone of his teachings. This humility, combined with relentless questioning, set Socrates apart and established his method of inquiry as a model for intellectual rigor. Socrates wasn't just a philosopher, he was also a warrior. He served as a hoplite, or heavily armed infantryman, in the Athenian army. Socrates fought in several key battles, including the Battle of Potidaea and the Battle of Delium. His bravery and resilience were the stuff of legend. In one account, he saved the life of a young soldier named Alcibiades, carrying him to safety despite the chaos of battle. His military service shows a side of Socrates often overshadowed by his intellectual pursuits, a man of action as well as thought. Socrates lived in a democratic Athens, but wasn't shy about criticizing the system. He argued that governance should not be left to the whims of the uninformed masses, but entrusted to those with wisdom and expertise. Imagine a ship's captain chosen by popular vote rather than skill. That's how Socrates saw democracy. While his critiques were philosophical, they likely contributed to the charges brought against him later in life. His tension with democracy reveals a thinker unafraid to challenge the status quo, even at great personal risk. In 399 BCE, Socrates was put on trial for impiety and corrupting the youth of Athens. The charges were vague, but many believe they were politically motivated, a way to silence a voice that was both influential and inconvenient. His defense was nothing short of audacious. Instead of begging for mercy, Socrates argued that his actions benefited Athens and even suggested he be rewarded with free meals for life. This defiance didn't win him any favors, and he was ultimately sentenced to death. His trial remains one of history's most infamous miscarriages of justice. Sentenced to die by drinking poison hemlock, Socrates faced his end with remarkable composure. According to Plato's accounts, Socrates spent his final hours discussing philosophy with his friends, delving into questions about the soul and the afterlife. There was no fear, no anger, just a serene acceptance of his fate. His death became as legendary as his life, a final act of philosophical inquiry and moral integrity that continues to inspire. Socrates' wife Xanthippe is often remembered as quarrelsome, but let's consider her perspective. Living with a man who prioritized philosophical debates over practical matters like providing for his family couldn't have been easy. In one famous anecdote, Xanthippe reportedly dumped a bucket of water over Socrates' head during an argument. Socrates' response, "After thunder comes rain." While their relationship may have been tumultuous, it's clear that Xanthippe's fiery personality matched Socrates' unyielding nature, making her an essential, if underappreciated, part of his story. Finally, it's worth noting that without Plato, Xenophon, and other disciples, Socrates might have been forgotten. These loyal students immortalized his teachings and methods, ensuring his influence would endure for millennia. However, their differing accounts often paint contrasting pictures of Socrates, adding to the mystery. Was he the uncompromising seeker of truth Plato described, or the practical, down-to-earth figure Xenophon portrayed? Perhaps he was both, and that duality is what makes him so captivating. Socrates remains one of history's most fascinating figures. His life was full of contradictions, a man who was unattractive yet magnetic, a critic of democracy who lived in its cradle, and a philosopher who wrote nothing but whose ideas shaped the world. These 10 little-known facts only scratch the surface of his complexity. He challenges us even today to think deeply, question boldly, and embrace the paradoxes of life. If you found these facts intriguing, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more deep dives into history's greatest minds. Who should we cover next? Let us know in the comments below.